What up, everyone in WBC? Big shout out to the UGC, hashtag come back to boxing, and the NBBC. When you get a chance, go to the description box of this video. Check out all the links to my brothers in those communities. And if you feel compelled to do so, please subscribe. Now, before I get into the topic of this video, or actually I got a couple things I want to cover. But before I go into the topics of this video, just want to go ahead and let you guys know that in a couple of days I'll be heading out to California. I'll be out there for a couple weeks, and during that time I will not be uploading any videos, and I don't foresee myself joining any lives during that time. Now, when I get a chance, I might check out some of y'all's videos and leave a comment, but I don't really see myself doing anything beyond that during those next couple weeks. Just wanted my subscribers to be aware of that. Now, that being said, let me go ahead and get into a couple different topics here. First, just want to touch on this whole situation with Canelo versus Kovalev. I'm hearing a lot of talk about this fight being fixed, and this is what I have to say to that. Me personally, I don't think that the fight was fixed. Now, for those who do feel it's fixed, I don't really take issue with you, and here's the reason why. This has always been the issue with Canelo. Canelo, I've always said that nobody takes more credit away from Canelo than Canelo himself. And a lot of people feeling like this fight is fixed is kind of those dividends being paid at this juncture. You know, Canelo has had a lot of favoritism when it comes to the judges in the past. He has tried to pull a lot of different stunts, such as, you know, a possible undisputed match with Triple G. He wanted to fight it at 155 pounds for the middleweight undisputed championship of the world. You know, you know, he's imposed different, you know, catch weights and weight clauses, which, I mean, maybe impose isn't the right word to use, being that, you know, boxing librarian, shout out to him, he's brought up a good point. These fighters have agreed to these stipulations, so I guess impose really isn't the right word to use. But he does try to maneuver his fights in such a way where he has very low risk. He tries to, at least. He tries to mitigate the risk as much as he can. If he wants to do that, that's fine, but he has to understand that that's going to come with criticism. That is definitely going to come with criticism, because at the end of the day, boxing is a sport. And really, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, I think every boxing match should be fought in the same size ring with the same rules. If there's going to be rehydration, if there's going to be a limit on rehydration, it should be on every single match. It shouldn't matter that it's Canelo or not. It should be on every single match. The size of the gloves, it should be uniform for every single fight. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. The reality is that we do have fighters who maneuver things into their own favor. And unfortunately, when they're popular, they're more able to do that than the ones who are not popular. That's just the reality. So, although I personally don't feel that this was a fixed fight, I do think that those criticisms are things that Canelo has brought on himself ultimately. You know, a lot of people have a very sour taste in their mouth from this whole franchise championship belt that he holds. And now Vasily Lomachenko, as much as I like him, I gotta give him some criticism on that. You know, This is a belt that should not exist. A belt that you cannot lose in the ring is not really a real belt, in my opinion. And there are some there's some things that are kind of unclear with that. Supposedly you have to petition to become the franchise champion. But being that Mauricio Suleiman himself has said that it even confuses him, I don't even know that to be true. And that comes to the next topic of this video, the WBC. You know, the WBC has just become so toxic. They're terrible for boxing. You know, and I know a lot of people hold the WBC in such a high regard because of legends who have held their belts in the past, but that's been tarnished. You know, the past is the past and the present is the present. And right now, the WBC is just not good for boxing. You know, if we're being honest with ourselves, they've had unofficial franchise champions in the past because they don't always enforce their rules. You know, they have the clean boxing program, but when Canelo tested dirty, they gave him a laughable 6-month ban. And before the 6 months was even up, they go ahead and they reinstate him into the rankings. But then Dillian Whyte doesn't fail VADA. Somehow he fails UCAD, but VADA didn't detect anything. And they waste no time to kick him out of their rankings. You know, they're extremely inconsistent. You're supposed to fight your mandatories every so often, but you know, Deontay Wilder, supposedly Deontay Wilder said something about that he has no interest in the franchise championship belt. You know what? I don't blame him. Because he's already getting the franchise champion treatment without paying the franchise champion sanctioning fees. So yeah, of course he's going to say that he don't want nothing to do with it. He's already getting the perks. If you can pay for a kid's meal, but you're getting a Big Mac, why would you start paying full price all of a sudden? See what I'm saying? Like, if we're being honest, this franchise belt is something that has existed for a while. It's just now it's an official thing. It's something they have in black and white. And it's all bullshit. WBC is, in my opinion, the worst sanctioning body in the sport of boxing right now. Because like I said, you know, the WBA, don't get me wrong, WBA, WBO, IBF, they all have none of them are perfect. They all got their flaws. You know, the WBO, they can decide, you could beat a champion and they can decide that they don't want you to be their champion. Now, my understanding is that they don't really exercise that, which is a good thing, but the point is that's there. So at any point they could decide to start exercising that. The IBF, unfortunately, because they are the ones that try to hold to their standards. Because of that, and these fighters can just go to one of the corrupt sanctioning bodies puts them at a disadvantage, which typically means they have terrible mandatories. WBA, they muddied up the waters with their, super championship. A couple years ago said that they were going to start getting rid of some of these belts, but that remains to be seen, because if anything, they created a new belt like the WBA Gold or some bull crap like that. But at least with the WBA Super, when you lose in the ring, that belt exchanges hands. This whole thing with, the franchise belt where you can't lose it in the ring, that's a whole new level of fuckery right there. So, back to Canelo, with Canelo, I think he legitimately beat Kovalev. That's my opinion. If you feel it was fixed, I can't say that I blame you. Because Canelo has done a lot of things in the past that is catching up with him now when it comes to the fans. That's why I've always said, nobody takes credit away from Canelo like Canelo does. And this right here, what I'm seeing, even though I don't agree with it, to me, it's just the dividends of the fuckery in the past catching up to him. To all my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble upon this video, hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Peace.